Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Action Popcast. Not just the channel, the Action Popcast podcast. It's been absolutely ages, but I'm back. I'm back to torment you with stuff about pop culture that you probably never thought about before, but I seem to want to shout it at you to listen about. Anyway, before we go any further, I am joined this evening by two absolutely amazing ladies. To the side of me, I have our OnlyVadersGirl, Kat, and I will come to the amazing lady below in just a moment. But Kat, how are you this evening?
Hello. I'm actually really sick, so I pre-apologize to everybody. I will try to mute when I have to cough. But otherwise, I'm really excited to talk about the show and obviously to have the amazing Georgie with us. So super pumped.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. I've been looking forward to this one. And we all know Kat does quite a few shows with me on the Real Impact series, so she's back to help with this. But we have drafted in an excellent guest. She is by far the better half of the Universal Toy Collector channel. It is the lovely Georgie. How are you this evening, Georgie?
I'm good, thank you. Hey, how are you both? I know you're sick. I'm so sorry. And
It's okay.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, it is what it is. We'll soldier on through, I'm sure. But you're good though, Georgie. Yeah, you pumped for the subject. You feeling?
Yeah,
like,
good.
Ready to discuss?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is quite nostalgic. So yeah, as well as more like recent and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be one of those. This is going to be a sort of deep dive, but then a travel to the present and then some weirdness in between. So what I want to do is just to give everyone a heads up, because in a second I'm going to go into the comments section. I'm going to say hello to those in attendance this evening, but just give people an idea of what the show is. This show is called Toying with AI, and it's basically about how fake AI toys in the 90s may have potentially shaped our acceptance of AI in present day. So we will go down a little rabbit hole. We'll explore a few things and we'll see where we come out. So yeah, it's like Alice through the looking glass, but there you go. I don't know why I said that, but anyway, let's get into the comment section.
There's a link.
There's a link indeed. There's loads of people in this evening. So first of all, got to say hello to the Universal Toy Collector, Stu, the other half of Georgie there. Good evening, Stu. Hope you're well this evening. Hope the recording of your show goes well as well, and we're not stealing your precious bandwidth, which is a concern of Georgie's. We've also been joined by Pete's Toys and Things. So good evening, Pete. Good to see you.
Pete.
Thank you for joining us. We have also been joined by Travels and More with Jason. We've been joined by the absolutely awesome JoJo. She's saying good evening all. Oh, here she is, the Lady Stephanie. Lady Steph, how are you this evening, Steph? Thank you for joining us. Aha, the one and only Rolando Flores. But he's now called Rolando Utah Toy Hunter, which throws me every time I read his name. So there you go. But it is Rolando Flores. You can't escape it.
He has been that for a while, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah, but I'm blind to these things. He's always been Rolando to me, Rolando Flores.
To me, he's Lando, so I mean...
Well, to me, like Shabby, every time I hear Rolando, I just want to say there was something in the, the ABBA song. It's how it goes. But good to see you, Rolando. Sorry just to get stuck. Not to make you feel self-conscious, mate, but thank you for coming along. We've also been joined by Gilster37. Good evening, Gil. Good to see you this evening. Let me say, the man who likes to lean a lot. Des T, because it's Star Wars. He says, hello, you lovely people. Thanks for joining us this evening, Des. Always great to have you in attendance. Aha. One of the super spanners, Monkey Boy from Monkey Boy's Toys. He is here. Oosh. Game over, man. Game over. Well, there you go. There you go. Is it truly game over? I guess we will find out. Hopefully it's not. I'm kind of hoping it's not. Here he is, Uncle Keith himself. He says, good evening, friends. Good to see you, Unc. Thanks for joining us this evening. We've also been joined by the lovely MSC, who messaged me just before the show. She is also poorly. I don't know what's going on today.
No.
And actually, thinking on it, JoJo's not feeling well because she messaged me earlier as well and said she wasn't feeling great.
It's getting round.
It's going around.
It's getting around. It's
Yep.
taken us all out, isn't it? So hopefully everyone will sort of perk up in the coming days, and hopefully the co-hosts of this show don't collapse mid-show.
I'll just call in my
supporting
son
you.
to take over. Rafi will take over for
support you.
you. He loves
That's
talking
right.
about AI, so I'll just call Rafi
no,
in for you.
Yeah, Rafi can come in anytime. Delvian Seek is saying hello to everyone. Thanks for joining us, Delvian.
No.
Aha, all the way from the Highlands himself. Dark Lycan, our Baz. He's saying, hey, everyone, good to see you, Baz. Oh, ho, 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 ho. We've also been joined by CWC Collecting with Cool. He says, what's up, everyone? What's up? How are you,
Brett.
dude? Thank you for joining us. Just looking through. I think we haven't got to the end. There's more. Sai, Manga Fandanga. He has
Thanks,
joined
Brett.
us. Good evening, Sai. Thank you for popping in this evening. Always great to see you. The calmest voice in the toy community. Our VTR Dave. The man I had the best roast dinner with ever. Good to see you, VTR Dave. Honestly, I did. I had an amazing roast dinner with him. It was roast beef. It was medium rare. It was beautiful. Not really the subject for this evening, but there you go. I've got to share it. I'm just checking to see if there's anyone. And we've also been joined by Zoe T. She says, hello. Thank you for joining us this evening, Zoe. Great to have you in the chat. Hope you're having a good one and your weekend is going excellent. So thank you for popping on it. One of the other super spanners, a long time ago, Martin Long. He says,
Hello.
evening all, with some thumbs up. Good to see you, Martin. Good to see you. Thank you for coming along. I'm just... we got more. Spencer. Good to see you, Spencer.
Hey, Spencer.
Thanks for coming along.
I must say that was some awesome opera singing the other evening, Martin. Just saying.
Well, I will say,
Oh.
Shabby said to me
Just wanna
in a chat the other night,
touch on that.
APD, do you want to come in and do some opera singing on ZSR? And I thought he was taking the piss. I was like, no, you're all right. I didn't realise people actually ended up doing opera singing. So there you go. We've also, anyway, to stay on subject, been... No, it's me waffling, mate. It's always going to be me. We've been joined by They Gone.
No.
Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Let me just check to see if we've been joined by anyone else.
Got Adam.
Adam, where? Yes. Thank you. Adam, the real toy dude. Howdy, 3 sexy ladies. I like what you did there, Adam. I could be your pumpkin if you want, sweet pea. Anyway, I think we've got to the end of those in attendance this evening. However, if anyone else pops in, we will, of course, say hello. So we went over what the subject was. Ladies, are you ready to dive into the weird world? The weird world of AI when toys tried to think?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, let's take this comment down first of all. Not that we don't like Adam, it's just that I'm going to need the screen sort of full size. So there we go. Let me bring up a slide because I think it's important. First of all, I'm going to bring up a slide. You might be talking about toys. Why have you brought films up? But I think, and it is my belief, that the fear of AI in pop culture has massively been pushed on by films such as these. Films like 2001: A Space Odyssey. The Terminator films, the Matrix films. You know, you've got 2001: A Space Odyssey. As early as 1968, you had HAL, trying to take everyone out, the AI. I know I've got Terminator 2 up there, but the original one was in 1984. But in 1991, we also had Terminator 2. And that film really did showcase what happens when AI took over. It didn't like the humans. It saw us as a threat. It nuked us. And it was a post-apocalyptic world. And we don't need to go in the story because that's not what it's about. And of course, then we had films like The Matrix, which sort of showed humans encased in pods being used as literal batteries while machines put us in a simulation. So, ladies, what's your thoughts on how things like films have sort of brought along the fear of AI in the sort of consciousness of us human beings? I'll go to you first, Kat. What do you think?
I mean, it was always terrifying. Like Terminator made, you liked him at the end, but he was terrifying. I mean, the guy's he's massive and he's really intimidating. He played it so well, but to really think about it, oh, if this could really happen, like, I feel like all of those movies made it be like, oh my gosh, that could be us. And it kind of it starts that little fear in you, especially as like a younger kid and stuff like that. So I think it's definitely fear driven with it, but that's all.
Absolutely. I mean, and the thing, and the common theme is humans handing control and decision making over to machines. So,
Yeah.
Georgie, I know you like your films and that. Would you say that films such as those have sort of contributed to our fear of AI today?
I mean, I'd say definitely, to be honest. I mean, with the Terminator, as Kat was saying, it's in front of you, and they're playing it out how they see it could happen. I mean, it's not unreasonable that it couldn't happen. The Matrix, I'll be frightfully honest, when I first saw it, confused the bejeez out of me. What was real? What wasn't real? When was this? When was that? What was that happening? But the Terminator more for me resonated because it's, as I said, it's in front of you, it's happening, and you think, God, that could actually happen. Like anything they take out and they make into some sort of a film or media. It's physical and in front of you on the screen sort of thing, rather than just up in your mind.
Yeah, and to me, it's interesting as well, because things that have happened in films, so you guys are aware, and I'm sure everyone will be watching this evening, of films like, and the original film series of Child's Play, Chucky the Doll, had nothing to do with AI. It was about voodoo and a possessed doll. But when we got the remake in 2019,
wait, they remade it?
They have remade Child's Play. I'm going to be honest with you. I watched about half hour. Mark Hamill voiced Chucky in this.
Oh, yeah.
He's so good at creepy voices. Sorry.
Really good.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, he is. But unfortunately, the half hour I watched of it, I can never get back. But I will finish it one day. But yeah, they decided to make Chucky AI.
Really?
So this sort of leads into the modern fear of AI. We're in the day and age of ChatGPT, Teslas, everything. There's AI absolutely everywhere. What's VTR saying? You need AI just to understand what the heck happened in the Matrix. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, VTR.
Please,
you're
it's not just me.
right.
Sorry. Yep. You do.
So yeah, and then they've now in the remake turned Chucky into AI, because that's the new fear. Should we say? And of course, the film in 2022, I've got it downloaded. I just didn't get time to watch it before this. But Megan, and she is, from what I understand, an AI doll. So yeah,
I saw the previews and I said, I'm good. I'm good. I already have fears that I'll go into later in the show. I'm good. I don't need to watch that.
Well, yeah. So not to keep this episode of the podcast about films, but I just wanted to illustrate why I feel this is really ramped up in us, because our media, the things we watch, the things we consume, are showing us what happens if we let AI take over. So, sort of going into our other sections of the podcast now. So I'm just scrolling down through my notes just to here's what happens. Here's what happens. You're trying to... There we go. So, something I want to bring up. Now, this isn't strictly AI, but the thing I wanted to say about AI in the 90s is there were toys in the 90s that had, and I'm going to do air commas here, AI in them. They didn't. There was no... They were programmed and made to look like it was AI. So, we're going to go deeper into this as time goes on, but although not sort of AI as you would think, but one of the first toys which sort of caused a global craze and was something virtual. You guys tell me. Do you remember these guys? The Tamagotchi.
I had one.
Yeah.
I had
Me too.
one.
You had one? Yeah,
Yes.
I never had a proper one. I had like a knockoff Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
My parents never got me a real one, but
They're
it was pretty
expensive.
much the same thing. Yeah,
They
they were.
Yeah.
Well, I can remember when they first came out in the UK, I think they were about 10, 15 quid around them. But we're going back to, we're quite literally going back to the 90s there on that. So, 1996, the Tamagotchi was released in Japan, and then 1997, it went worldwide. This digital pet, it needed constant care, and that was one of the things I remember kids at school getting like told off by the teachers and what have you, because they were literally sneaking to feed their virtual pet. I can remember my sisters had they had actual Tamagotchis. I didn't, and the reason I didn't was because when it come out, we had a choice of a toy, and I picked an Action Man, not a Tamagotchi. I sort of regretted it afterwards. So I got a knockoff one. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad I didn't go for the real deal because it never really resonated with me. But I can remember people proper obsessed. My sisters were well hooked on them. Mm-hmm. And I even saw an old news clip. I looked for it. If I could have found it, I would have showed it. I looked everywhere for it. But there were a couple of girls in England somewhere, and they had a pet, and however many days it lived for, they had a news crew around the house. I don't know if it was ITV or something, but they actually filmed them burying the Tamagotchi after it had died.
Wow.
The dad built a wooden coffin for it. The dad built a wooden coffin for it, and they buried it.
What?
And you think to yourself, you just hit the reset button. I mean, and you go again.
Yeah.
But this was the thing. There was sort of there was controversy in the media because of the emotional connection and bond kids had with these toys. Now, Kat, you say you had one. What was your experience like? Tell us how it went with you and your Tamagotchi.
Okay, we didn't bury ours. Just make that very clear. But we were like the three amigos. It was me and my two other best friends. One I knew from 4, the other one, she moved here when she was 7. So we literally grew up with each other. And her dad made her a necklace. So she would carry it around on her neck. So we have pictures. We're at like a wedding reception, and in the picture, she's got it on her. But it came into this little like competition with each other, like who can keep their Tamagotchi like the happiest and living the longest and stuff like that. So we would have like, I guess, like little running bets with each other. And I was killing that thing I think the longest time I had was like 10 days. And I was like, yeah, I'm on a roll. And then it died because I forgot about it. And then I couldn't find it. And so that was devastating. But she got it to like 150 days or something insane like that. But like I said, we weren't like on an emotional level with it, but we talked about it constantly, and we were competitive, but just not that emotional. Let's bury it. That's money. Why are you burying money? My parents would have killed me for that.
I suspect that somebody thought up a good scam to either the kids were nuts. I don't know if we can say that in this day and age. Either the kids were nuts, or the parents thought, I know what we can do to get a quick couple £100 off the local news station. Just a comment. I want to flip up that Des T said. We found several up in the loft. Mrs. T remembers taking one to work to keep it fed and watered. And then Zoe quickly comes in with, definitely wasn't my one. And then Des coming back with why? Did you sneak yours in school? Oh, God, it's a bit late to tell her off now, Des.
Yeah, you're a little late there. But we actually had to have, I remember specifically in our science class, like we had a bunch of them. My mom already told me, she's like, if you get that taken away from school, I ain't getting it back for you. Like, you're on your own. Like, you got to figure it out. So I would keep mine in my locker so I wouldn't get in trouble, because I almost did one time. But anyway, I would have kids, like the teacher would flip out. So she started locking them in her desk. Like, she would ask for all the Tamagotchis, lock them in her desk, and then she would give them back out like before class is out. But yeah.
Wow.
Sorry, just muted there. I've got cool. I never bring water into these shows. I never bring beer, and I listened to Kat for once. I brought water, so I don't have a bottle myself. So I've stolen one of Carla's. It's very floral and pretty. And hello, good evening to G-Force Racing. Thank you for RG for joining us this evening.
Oh, Dave.
When they said keep it water, they didn't mean with a watering can. Oh, poor Tamagotchi. So, Georgie, I know we're going to talk about a part of your life going forward in a minute, and some experiences you had, but you were aware of Tamagotchi at the time. Was it something you were ever tempted by, or did you have relatives, siblings, nieces, nephews, anyone who was into the Tamagotchi craze?
No, I did. I had one. I didn't have.
Wicked.
I didn't actually have one. Yes, but I was out of school, so I was just a little bit more mature. But wanted to see what it was all about, basically, because I was selling them. So yeah, I remember, I think some theatre friends, I want to say. I remember sitting outside a pub with a group of us, and quite a few of us had them, and we just all sort of thought they were a bit needy, like overly
Yes.
needy.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then was ecstatic when they pooped. I think I seem to remember. I don't know. And it did this and it did that, and but yeah, all the time. Oh God, it needs more feeding and more water and more this and more that. And it's been like 20 minutes, and what's going on? And I couldn't wait until the battery went. To be quite fair, I think at the time. Yeah. There was a bit of like you were saying, sort of competitiveness with it to see who could keep them going the longest. But
Mhm.
I think I got a little bit fed up because I was a little bit older with it, I think. Yeah.
It's really annoying when you come back to it after 20 minutes and there's poop all over the screen. You're like,
Yeah. Oh,
what
I've got to clear this
happened?
up.
Like, what?
Clear this up.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotcha.
But that was back in the day of the mobile phone where there was no smartphones. It was
Yeah.
we just learned to text each other.
Mhm.
Texting had just come out, and the fact that the screen was just like a pale color with green writing, and we used to have to go through the letters. That's when I had the Tamagotchi. That was the
Are we
technology at the time.
talking the days of when a text message was literally 50p a message, and you
Yep.
had to scroll
Yeah.
through every
Yep.
individual
Yep.
letter on a single bar
Yep.
screen? Yeah, I
Yep.
remember those
Correct.
days.
So all you really said was hi, hello, how you do? You kept the message as short as possible because you couldn't fit too
T9.
much in. So yeah.
Isn't it called T9? Wasn't it? Is that T9? That's what we called it. Is you
Oh, I don't
T9
know.
because you have to
Oh,
go
I don't
through
know.
it. Yeah. Okay. Well,
Oh,
here
is that's
what it was
the
called.
process.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Super
No,
annoying. Yeah.
I know. I had a early Motorola phone, and it literally had a flip down front. And good evening to Pop Racing Palpatine. Somehow he has returned. Great to have you.
I have
What's
just
the- what-
noticed every time you put a comment up, I have a rather interesting sort of appendage thing going on here because of Furby's feet. Catch it next time. You'll see what I mean. I can't unsee that now.
Is it Lana Del Gargan or whatever from
love that. I love that.
from Empire Strikes Back with the yeah we won't go there.
Yeah, no, let's not
those
go
are in a line rather than anyway. Enough
Mhm,
said.
mhm.
I would never have spotted that if you hadn't have brought that up. Never in a million years.
I love it.
No, you know, so Tamagotchi, there's been various versions re-released over the years. We could spend a whole stream chatting about it, but we've got to move forward, and I've got to
Cough.
Turn your head and cough.
turn your head and cough. Yeah. It's like when you go to the doctor's, cough. Anyway, enough of that. You girls will never know that experience. Anyway,
I hope
so
not.
the big toy, and there were, so just to give you a little list of AI toys before I go into the big one, or shall I say AI toys, inverted air commas. That's toys that came out in the 90s. There were many, but I've got a little list here. So there was, before I go into the big one, there was one called Poochie in 1999. It was a robotic dog that responded to sounds, but it was fully pre-programmed. But it did lead kids to think that this thing did actually...
That's the one with like the colored ears, right?
Was
They
it
were like
white?
blue or whatever. You could get them kind of.
Yeah, I ran out of
okay.
slides, so I couldn't bring up any pictures of these, so I can only apologise. There's only so many you can use on here, but yeah. There was also one called My Pal. This was actually earlier in 1991. Robot friend with basic movements and canned phrases. There was one in 1998 going forward again in time. It was called Yano, and it was a storytelling companion, preset stories, limited sort of interactivity, but that was sort of classed as a early AI. And in 1999, Pixel Chicks, virtual friend with animations, limited responses based on button inputs. And a personal favourite of mine, I wouldn't say it was AI, but any chance to talk about him and tell you the story. He wasn't really AI, but Teddy Ruxpin. Did anyone have that Teddy Ruxpin where you put the tape in him and he spoke?
Oh, I had Teddy Ruxpin and Grubby, and you linked them up together, and they had a little chat.
Early.
Yeah.
And toys like that. See, I haven't got the year for that because it's just popped into my head. I was meant to write it down, but there you go. That's what you get when you leave me to organise myself. Yeah. I can remember my cousin had one of those, and we managed to break his eye out by throwing Star Wars figures at it. We were young. So yeah, not only did we, my auntie absolutely tanned our legs for that. She was like, I remember her going nuts about it. She went absolutely nuts.
1985 release for Teddy
Nine-
Ruxpin.
Yeah.
Thank you so much there, Georgie, coming in.
Welcome.
You are research. We'll get you on every show. You can be sat in the background feeding us research. So let me jump back down. The problem is with these notes is there's so many of them. I've got to make sure that I don't start
Rather a
reading the
few.
wrong ones. There are rather a few. Here we go. We got there. So the big one, the one who you met. I'm just going to do something. So you'll see the thumbnail in a moment because there's something I can do now. Look at this. The thumbnail for the video is this here. And I think we all know who that's based on, don't we? That is based on the one, the only. Bring your slide up, right, Nicholas? Furby. So Furby, yes, Furby, released by Tiger Electronics in 1998. Ladies, did you have Furbies?
Yes.
No, my best friend did though. They
And Kat,
scared
tell us
me.
why you didn't have a Furby.
So she was the first one to get it. And I was all excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna ask my parents one for family day. This is gonna be awesome. And then I spent the night at my friend's house. And then she told me, she said, hey, some weird things have been happening with my Furby at night. And I was like, what? And she's like, it just like talks randomly when I'm not even touching it. I was like, okay, like I thought she was just trying to scare me and be silly and stuff like that. So we're up real late. We finally go to sleep. Then all of a sudden, it just like opens its eyes and what the crap is that? Like it would open its eyes and start making sounds and doing its little thing. Nobody touched it. Nobody's there. And it would just keep happening. Or then even in the middle of the day, like it just randomly would start opening up. Scared me half to death. So I was like, yeah, I don't want one. Absolutely. After that, nope. And then I started asking kids at school, like, hey, do you guys have a Furby? This happens at, my friend's house. And they're like, oh, it happens to us too. Like, we weren't even touching it. And like one kid said they were watching TV. Then all of a sudden they were home alone and they kept hearing something in the back room. And they're like, what is going on? So they grabbed their older brother with a bat and they're like going through the house because they thought somebody was robbing the place. And the Furby is talking to itself in the room. Yeah, I'm good. It's no longer cute and adorable, and I want it. I'm good.
You're good. So before I go down to Georgie, I didn't have a Furby. I do want to bring up Zoe's comment. She says, Pixel Chicks, I literally have one. The TV one in front of me. Wicked. There you go. See, bringing the nostalgia back. We aim to please on the APC. Often fail, but we try. Yeah, so Furbies. I have 4 sisters. I'm the only boy. The middle child as well. So you can imagine all the complications there are with me. And my 2 younger sisters, who are only just over a year younger than me, they both got a Furby the year they came out. And they loved them. I found them annoying as hell. These things, like you say, they just speak. They randomly speak. You see, the thing with Furby was, read the AI in it. Supposedly, Furby could learn to talk. The more you interacted with Furby, the more he learned. Now, there's a great English sort of term you could put to this to explain what it really was. It was a load of old bollocks. It didn't really, he didn't really learn much. It was just a sort of time thing on it. But, Furbies, that they had certain phrases. Herbies, that's the Beetle car, isn't it? There we go. Anyway, back into this. And my sisters had one, and Furbies could hiccup. Right? Now, my parents accused me of teaching Furby to say a name of a horrible dictator from history, which is what the hiccup sounded like. I did not. And years later, when I found a video of this on YouTube, I went to my parents and went, look, see, it's a hiccup. Because my dad reset these Furbies. He's like, you've ruined this toy. It's learned to say that. This is you. It's like, it wasn't me. Why would you think I said that? So I tell this story to sort of illustrate that people were sold on this, man. People actually thought they learnt words from us. And I'm gonna ask Georgie her experiences, if any, with Furby. Then I'm going to tell a little story about Furby in a moment. One which really will blow you. Well, it might not blow your mind, but it blew my mind a bit. Georgie, what was your sort of experience with Furby? And good evening to Jonathan Redmond as well. Thanks for joining us this evening, man.
Hey,
Good to see you.
I mean, I was in my early 20s, I think, when I got a Furby. I got one gifted to me from my mum. Because again, it was a craze. It was like, oh yeah, let's give you one of these. I don't remember it. I remember getting really frustrated with it. It wasn't learning anything I was trying to tell it. Maybe I was trying to tell it the wrong thing, possibly. I do remember waving it around when it used to kind of go, whoa, whoa, all the time, very annoyingly, and then stroking its front, I think, because you used to feel the little indenty bit that you could, and then it would go, ooh, and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was quite unimpressed by it at the time. I think mine had a sparkly furred colour, if I remember. That particular one, but yeah, not overly impressed at the time.
My sisters, I mean, Hannah had a sort of, it was almost like a tortoiseshell effect one. And I think Natalie had, it was a bluey sort of one. I think the reason I picked this picture was because that there is like what Nat had.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. They're twins. You shouldn't really say you confuse your twin sisters because people go, oh, they're their own people with their own personalities. But yeah, I am thinking back 20 plus years ago. But yeah, so people were sold on the fact that these toys could learn. They were interactive. The more you played with them, the more they learn. And this caused quite the controversy in Washington, D.C. Now, would you believe it if I told you that in the 90s, well, 1998 is when Furby came out. Would you believe it if I told you that Furby was banned from the White House? They had fears that that he could record conversations due to its ability to mimic humans. It couldn't. He straight up.
I don't know why they would think that. Hey,
because they're suspicious of everything. Because here you have to understand though, it was huge news when it started making the circles that it was reacting by itself. Because at a kid's standpoint, oh my gosh, my toy's interacting with me. It's not just like a flip a switch and you're having a remote control dinosaur or something, It's literally interacting. I mean, you're watching, TV shows in the future, their toys interact with them. It's something like for us is like, oh my gosh, like we're here. This is huge. And so they looked at it as a security. Somebody could easily put some kind of recording device in it. And because it's all friendly and cutesy, it's not a threat. It's not a harm. So it was huge news and then because I remember it had a nightly news thing. And when my parents found out about it, they're just like, yeah, we're not getting. I was like, listen, I already don't want it because it like operates by itself. Like, so I'm already there with you. But they looked at it as that's not safe because what could be in it, or could somebody record something in it and then have it play back to a kid that's like an inappropriate message or something like that. So, but that's why it was huge news for them, or the White House, I should say.
So,
I have to disappear for a second.
That's absolutely fine. I will continue to tell the story about the White House. So basically, the national security officials, they were straight up worried, as I've already said, that Furby would repeat classified information. And Tiger Electronics at the time actually came out and they did confirm that Furby did not have a recording function. It wasn't possible, but they still weren't convinced at the White House. But as a knock-on thing, this got Furby in the news, and believe it or not, this didn't damage Furby's reputation. Oh, this increased its sales. This was excellent for Furby. So even though the Tiger Electronics came out and basically told everyone that it has no AI functions at all, even though that's how they sold it, people still believed it. But yeah, so that's the age we were living in 98. Hey, Smirking Bear Studios, thanks for joining us this evening. There was a comment earlier on by VTR Dave. I think I starred it. Probably didn't. No, I didn't. But he basically said, you want to worry when you've taken the batteries out and they still continue to talk. That's when you want to worry. So, there we go. Kat's found it. Good on you, Kat. And we've also been, I don't know if we've already said hello to you, Ricardo, but we'll say it again. If not, good evening, Ricardo. Thanks for joining us. Great attendance this evening. So, yeah, going over sort of some of the 90s so-called AI toys and how people believe, even that story I told you about my parents, that's a true story. My parents thought that I managed to get a Furby to say something inappropriate, being a horrible brat of a child. You know, they were that sold by the marketing campaign of Furby, like I say. And it took 20 odd years to sort of get vindication and go, no, it wasn't. And there you go. Anyway, this evening, we, as you know, we have the lovely Georgie with us. And I think from what I understand, well, I do know for 100% because she told me before, you used to work at Toys R Us, didn't you, Georgie?
I did. Oh my goodness, look at that. Oh, do you know what though? When I first worked there, I would have loved to have had that apron. I tell you that for nothing.
Right?
I was in the original orange and a white striped popper upped little over jacket blazer thing where you always had your pens in your pocket that always leaked.
Yep.
That was my start off.
Just to add to the theme of this evening, that your head, I stole it off of your Instagram, but the body there is an AI generated image. So there you go. AI. There we go. But yeah, so Toys R Us there, that's how I remember Toys R Us. I used to live literally a 10-minute walk from the one in Poole. Loved Toys R Us. Hated it when they changed that front of it. That to me was Toys R Us. That's just what's VTS. And today's Furby is now called Alexa. There you go. But yeah, Georgie, anyway, I waffle.
No.
Your experience at Toys R Us, I do believe you were there for both the Furby and Tamagotchi craze. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, so I'm only looking down because of my dates because my brain is not working particularly well. So yeah, I joined in sort of Christmas of 92 going into 93. And that's when I think because Furby was released, 98, Tamagotchi. So yeah, I was there for Tamagotchi release, Furby release, and queues around the block for those from like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Just a quick apology to anyone who has one of those devices Dave brought up. I said it. So if your device has just gone off, yeah.
Oh,
Buddy.
yeah.
Alexa, buy Black Series figures.
Buy Kat a Lego.
No, it's all.
But no, so
yeah.
You were there.
I was.
You were.
Were they
And
like crashing into the stores for them? Like, could you not keep them on the shelves or anything?
I mean, basically, we always had like so many, or people. It was mainly on like a Saturday morning when all the adverts were on. So every time I woke up on a Saturday, I worked every Saturday. You get all the adverts for the TV, all the kids. It was just toys. So you knew exactly what all the kids were going to come in and buy that day, pretty much. But we used to get fresh deliveries in ready for the Saturday, so you knew how many you got. So they just they bundle in. It's not like a Black Friday or anything. They were all falling over each other, but they were all just queuing out. And then when they were sold out, they were sold out. So if you're in the head of the queue, you're going to get something. If you're near the back. You know,
okay.
Oh god, yeah. So that's my store on the left. I couldn't get a picture of queuing outside so it was the Woking store that I worked in, and we were one of the first 5 stores that opened in the UK.
Wow.
And that's the lunatics queuing. That's a whole store, I think it is, with people queuing. So that's what our queues used to look like. Yeah.
Awesome.
I remember Toys R Us, the adverts, you know, it's a magical place, we're on our way there. Toys, you know, we all know that one. And, you know, when I was really young at first, Toys R Us, our closest one was in Southampton. And when you find out Toys R Us is opening 10 minutes from your house, 10 minutes from your house, like walk out of So what am I doing? I'm clicking the wrong thing. I muted myself then. Walk out of your house, walk over a flyover bridge over a dual carriageway, and you are at the magical, the magical Toys R Us. Now, the first ever thing I bought at Toys R Us, I have here, and sort of, which was a Terminator 2 figure.
Oh, nice.
With birthday money. So there we go. Leaning into the AI that he's got no AI about him, but obviously he's about AI.
Are you
So
sure he probably has a chip in him? He's listening right now.
Somewhere.
He's been planning. He's been scheming all these years. Watch out, bro.
Wow, I bought a few more bits than just him. I got some good birthday money that year, and I bought the bike and I bought several figures. Anyway, that was a great birthday. I love the Terminator films. What's Johnny Redmond saying there? Georgie, what toy or toy line was the biggest nightmare for you to deal with? That is a great question.
Undoubtedly Tracy Island.
I got one that year.
What is that?
I got
What is
one.
that?
So Thunderbirds.
Oh, okay.
The Thunderbirds Tracy Island play set with
Gotcha.
all the vehicles, or not the vehicles. I can't remember. It was also it all came as a set, didn't it? But yeah, that was a real queuing, and we didn't used to get many of them in at all. To the point everybody always come and ask us, "Oh, have you got any? Have you got any? Please just go and look, go and check. You've got none out the back." I'm like, honestly, so you just walk out the back just to wait for a little bit and then come back out, because as soon
So
as
you
they
were
came in, they
you were
went
duping
out.
people and getting a little break.
Well, it made them feel
gotta do it.
better, and then they're really not there. 100% not there. But I mean, I hate it when do you ask in a store, have you got any more in this size, or have you got any more in that? And they'll go, no, whatever we've got is out. And it's like, well, you've got a massive storeroom out the back with probably a lot of stock. If you could just go and have a little look, I'd really appreciate it.
So the thing is, we've all done it. We've all done
Yeah.
that. And no, that year for Tracy Island, I got one. And I got the Thunderbird 5 set, which had the Lady Penelope's car, Thunderbird 1 through 4. She never got Thunderbird 5. And simply the reason I got it is my dad was teaching one of the managers or assistant managers to drive who worked at Toys R Us. So
Nice.
bonus. I was one of the lucky kids that year. But yeah, so I've worked in retail myself. It's always a bit nuts. What's Des saying here? I remember queuing up for Toys R Us Midnight Madness for the Phantom Menace merch. Good times. I remember that. That was crazy.
I had 2 or 3 Toys R Us. I would have a loop of toy runs. So I would start about 3 or 4 o'clock, and it would go until about 2 or 3 a.m. But I would drive from the Springs through Castle Rock, Denver, all the way to Fort Collins, which is 2 hours away, and then make a loop back. But I would hit Targets and stuff. But I had the best Toys R Us was in Fort Collins. It was like a warehouse. It was so stinking big. I have never seen. It was the best place ever. I was like, I want to die here. It's so nice. They were the best.
Toys R Us was great. I just read G's comment here. I don't know if Georgie worked around that time that he came out. G says, mine was Tickle Me Elmo when I worked at JCPenney. We got 2 cases and folks were going mental. Were you there for the Tickle Me Elmo craze, Georgie?
I'm trying to think what was that, 1996?
I mean, there's been so many toy crazes over the year. I certainly don't expect you to remember every craze.
Maybe. I mean, there was a lot. We used to have a lot of things that we used to have. I'm trying to think of a lot of things that are at the toy fairs right now, like Sabutio and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, and our Toys R Us was huge. I mean, the car park that you saw on the top of that was just the Toys R Us car park. That was like 5 stories, and that was just for Toys R Us.
Wow.
Well, sorry, I went to click one comment, clicked another because it moved, but I'll bring up Jonathan Redmond's now. He says, cool, Georgie. Wouldn't have thought of that one. I went to bring up VTRs, and that's why Blue Peter made Tracy Island. Yes, the kids show on the BBC. I remember that because before I got mine, we tried to make it, and long and short of it was we got bored and it just went a bit mouldy. So mine didn't really work out. What's Steph saying here? I remember that VTR with toilet rolls for palm trees. Oh, it was a butter.
Quite
it was a butter pack for the with stickers on to make the bit for the driveway that lifted for Thunderbird 2 to come out of. And Anthea Turner, I do believe, was the host who made it. Yeah. Because the Sun newspaper did a big printout article of how to make it the following day. This was a big thing because this Tracy Island thing. But anyway, back into the so-called AI toys, or rather Georgie's experiences. So you've seen it all with people and parents, and have you seen tears and tantrums of people when they've wanted something and you haven't got it?
Oh yeah, all the time, and also lots of returns. I worked in various departments within. I ended up in big ticket with the bikes eventually, assisting and supervising in there. But I was in the refund area for a lot to see all the breakages coming back, and the Furbies with their eyes that weren't working, and the mouths that are busted, and the kids crying, and because we couldn't replace them because we didn't have any to replace for them, and yeah.
Wow. Yeah. No, I do. The broken toy was the thing, wasn't it? If I've had that experience where you take something back and they haven't got it to replace, and your parents say, "Oh, just get that then." No, I don't want that. I want this. This is why I asked for it. I probably had a sulk. And good evening to Jumpy McClunky joining us this evening. Thank you for joining the chat. So, yeah, the mad old time. So, did you buy your Furby and your Tamagotchi from Toys R Us? Did you get a staff discount? Asking all the important questions here.
No, never a staff discount. Number one.
What?
No,
What?
No, we
Wait.
didn't get staff discount. I mean, you could obviously, if stuff came in, you would be able to get stuff before other people. That you could class as a perk, but no staff
They
discount.
didn't have employee discounts. That's the whole point. That's the whole reason why you work there, so you get an employee discount.
Oh man!
No,
Oh, you were robbed, my dear. You were
You
robbed.
got done dirty.
Yeah, I think the Tamagotchi I picked up from there, but the Furby I had was gifted to me. So,
Des T's got a great question. Was Georgie at Toys R Us for the Teletubbies craze? I remember this because of my niece trying to get a bloody
They're so
Teletubby.
creepy, so creepy.
Definitely when they were there. I don't know if it was. Well, yeah. I mean, I remember them being there, so I must have been there. Yeah.
They're creepy.
There were many toys.
I guess it all just molds into one, really.
It does. I mean, when I started there as well, I was actually just temporary part-time Christmas staff. So I just literally arrived at 8:00 in the evening and tidied the store from front to back from 8 until 10. So I saw everything.
The full shebang, eh?
Flashing before my eyes. Yeah. Before I went full-time and then up into management. So but Teletubbies definitely.
Do you miss it though? Do you miss that job? Do you look back on it with fond memories, or was it?
Oh yeah, for sure. No, for sure. I mean, I did leave just through sort of physicality of it, because up in the big ticket department, you're carrying bikes and cribs on your shoulders and chucking them down chutes, and I found that quite heavy going. I wasn't just out on the small toy shop floor, as we called it. I mean, I could have changed department, but in the end, I was just a bit dumb. But definitely the people, and it was a really great time. My first ever job, actually.
Oh, I always look back fondly on my first job at a fish and chip shop, mate. You always look back fondly. Kat, you can read this one. What's VTR?
Love it.
Furbies weren't returned broken. It was because Mom couldn't take any more of the blinking annoying thing. Yeah. That's what you do when you're like an aunt or an uncle and you really want to annoy your family member. You buy them the most obnoxious thing ever. That's awesome. That's great.
Well, so somebody in the community gifted Jax. I'm not going to say any names as to who it was because it was a very kind, but they gifted Jax a James Bond cap gun, and I was cool with it because it's a big James Bond thing. And I managed to source some of the caps. Big mistake, huge mistake. Oh, it just sort of kind of just scare the crap out of you. Anyway, to that person, that was very kind, and be forever grateful for that. Genuinely, because it was an awesome gift. But the time at the time at Toys R Us. So those days have passed, and now I guess, unless there's anything else you want to say on that, Georgie, and the floor is yours, or we can continue moving on.
I'm good. That's my little seggy. Yeah.
Your little segment there. That was great. It was good. I love listening back to people's experiences and things they did with jobs they had. So, Kat, I guess now I have to sit back and let you take the floor, because we're going to talk about some of the more modern AI toys today which actually have AI in them.
All right. So I didn't know about this. You brought this to my attention. So I was really curious about it, but it was Hello Barbie from 2015. Now, she also came with Hello Barbie Dream House, but this Barbie actually really freaks me out. Like, so it actually has similar technology of like Siri and Alexa in it, and they made it to where they would actually record kids' voices off of it, and send it wherever. But what it would do is it would listen to the girls' interaction. So you push there, you see her belt, you'd push that
Hmm.
button, and you could start talking to it. But what it'll do is it'll remember everything you're saying, and then it'll interact. But then a few days later, it'll come back with like more stuff of what you're saying a few days ago, which is really freaky to me. Like, why? Why are you learning? Like, I don't just interact with my storytelling. When you're little and you're playing with Barbies, like that's what you want, not this. It freaks me out with that. But so it was remembering that up to several days with it. So there's huge concerns with privacy violations and that kind of stuff. It would remember your Wi-Fi password, username, all that kind of stuff. So there's a bunch of issues with that. And there's concerns with hackers actually being able to get in remotely, put it to a rogue hotspot, and it actually became such a concern that people were hacking them, and they were afraid of people saying stuff to their kids. Like I think you've seen, it's not AI, but with people having cameras in their kids,
Hmm.
throughout the house and stuff like that, and then a little girl or boy or whatever is in the room playing, and all of a sudden someone's talking to them. It's because somebody hacked into the camera through the Wi-Fi.
It's horrible, that.
Right. And so that's what it became, this huge privacy concern with the Barbies, and that. And then the house was the same way. It was constantly listening and remembering, and then it would talk back to you. So there was a bunch of
And this was
different
connected to the internet.
yeah, you had to connect it through your Wi-Fi, and it would send up updates and that kind of stuff. But the fact that it was remembering, and then it wouldn't, like I said, it would interact a little bit with the girl and stuff like that, but then it would always be listening, and it would come back. Like, so there was an instance that I found where a little girl wasn't even playing with it, but it was in her room, and she was talking with her friend, and then all of a sudden a few days later, when she was playing with it, it starts talking back about what she was talking with her friend. And she's like,
So,
what? So she alerted her mom, and it was this big, huge thing. And go ahead.
so it was recording conversations,
Yes.
presumably storing them on servers.
Yes.
Because I made you aware, I just got a list of toys. I didn't, this was the one toy I said, can you look into this? There's a bit
Yeah.
of controversy, but
No,
I
it's
didn't
really
dive
freaky.
into it.
It was really freaky because, and it wasn't just storing the conversation too, it was recording the little kids' voices too, which was a huge concern. So they ended up, because it also came with like an app, so you can control it through the app or get updates through the app. They turned it all off. There was a huge thing where some people didn't know what was going on, and when they were having issues with either the dream house or the Barbie itself, they would come in and they're like, we can't get any responses, and they'd get a message saying that the app's actually been discontinued, and they turned off all the servers because of such a privacy invasion. They had something similar come out, like, I think it was, now I didn't write it down in my notes, but it had a camera with it. And then that was like, come on, you're going to have a camera with kids
Evening,
that can be
Andy.
hackable. Like, that's really, you shouldn't do that at all. But anyway, but with this, yeah, it just became a huge privacy. So they completely shut it down. So I think they've tried to bury it several times of like, this is
Oh,
like our
God.
biggest mistake, but you go out there's huge Reddit threads about the dangers of it and people's experience with it and how it really scared them half to death, and huge things of like, we're never going to do that again. But to put Alexa and Siri technology into a toy, that's so stinking scary to me. Like, I don't have Alexa. I mean, I have Siri on my phone. That's it. I don't like one that could control my house. Like, oh yeah, turn the lights on and off. Oh no. Lock my door, Siri. No. Kidding me? No. Like, that's stupid. But yeah, so it was just a huge, like,
Do you,
icky
do you know
threat.
what, Kat? What I find quite sort of sad about that whole thing is that I don't know whether, depending on what age the kids, if they seem to want more. I mean, what happened to just having Barbie in the house and creating your own voices and being kids? The fact that they need to have all this stuff, I mean, it just
Yeah.
takes, I don't know, it just takes the childhood away from it a little bit, I feel,
It does. I mean, when we were little, we didn't have any of that.
No,
Like I have so many memories of my brother having his Star Wars toys out, and his Robin Hood toys, and my Barbies and my Star Wars toys, like attacking his village, and like you
Yep.
make up all these things, and he's like, "Oh, my arrow shot your Barbie in the leg, so I'd rip her leg off and chuck it." Like AI ain't gonna come up with that on its own. That was
No.
pure cat, right?
Yeah.
But it's it's something else. But yeah, you have to have like this whole interaction. Now, again, I get it from the movies and wanting to have things interact with us. Like if you think of Star Trek and the holodecks and having your stories come alive and stuff like that I could see is exciting and awesome. But with the toys part, it's so scary. It just really truly freaks me out with it, which I'm pretty sure, I mean, it's not AI, but my Lola, like she'll just randomly talk to me. And I'm like, that freaks me out a little bit, but she's adorable, so I put up with it.
I think you've got the more advanced one. I've got the slightly more budget version. Although the more advanced one, they were selling our entertainer recently for about £14.
Yeah, I got mine at Walmart it was on sale for 15.
Yeah.
So I was like, heck yeah. And then all of a sudden, like, I'll dust it and she's like, hello. And I'm like, oh, okay. How you doing? You good? Yeah, okay.
There's some crazy stuff. I just want to say, I did briefly set, but I'm not sure if it was heard. Hello to Andy.
Hey,
great
Andy.
to see you here, man. Thanks for joining this evening. Comment from Salacious Rom. I'm not reading it out, but if anyone wants to wants to read it in the comments section, it is there. He's just basic. Well, I'll read a little bit. He's confused as to why I'm behaving. Like I don't behave on his show, but I'm behaving here. There you go. It's like you go to Rom's house to misbehave.
That's why. Georgie and I were like, no, you're going to behave. Or we'll just kick him out and take over the show. That's why.
Yeah, to be fair. That's it. And Des brought up this comment, which was, I agree with exactly, Georgie, taking the imagination away from kids. And that's other than the scary internet connected toy, which can record conversations of your kid. And that just... I don't like that.
But also then come back to it. Like it's like not just recording. Yeah, it's not just recording. It's going to interact with you. And I'm sorry, but that's so scary from a little person view. I mean, yeah, because you're innocent and you don't really see it, but as an adult looking at it, that's completely terrifying to me. That's just it's too much with it.
Yeah, it's I don't. It's not something I feel good about. But then in my house, I've got OK Moogle. I ain't saying it aloud. I'm not silly. And I've equally got well, I would have set my phone off if I did. So sort of these things creep me out. But then I've got this stuff in technology around me anyway. So, but it's just it seems a step too far to put it into. Yeah. I wouldn't want my son having access to this stuff. Just no. And the fear for me, people, it's connected to the internet. It's got a speaker. It's got servers. It's like I said, being hacked. Imagine if someone hacked in and was having conversations with you. No. It's wrong with me.
There's a game that my son plays on his tablet, and there's different variations and stuff like that. And there's this one. It's called Tom and Friends. Now, I like the TV show. It's very cute. Some of the apps are fine. But there's this one app. It's like a news one with Tom the cat. And then there's this dog called Ben. And it's like a newscaster thing. But what they do is they talk to you. And you're supposed to be able to say something. And then they repeat it back. That one was getting hacked. And it was other people were talking to kids. So exactly what you said. Somebody was hacking into these. So it's not AI, but they're still hackable, and they're telling these kids things, whatever they want. Like
horrible.
Yeah. So
Horrible.
every time he's like, I want this one, I was like, let me see it. I dive into what he wants to download because, I don't let him just download anything he wants on there because you just don't know, you know.
Well, I guess I'll ask this question, but so John said, so what for the guys with kids would you want AI-enabled toys to actually do, if anything? Be educational, that for me, without intruding and recording his voice or potentially. I don't put my son on social. He's popped on YouTube a couple of times, but I limit very much his exposure to this stuff because it's a horrible dark world out there. And I don't really want him exposed to it. And he's young and he's innocent. And I want him to maintain that childhood. It's such a short time. And look, all us adults, we collect these toys and that, but we all reminisce and we look back. This is why we collect the toys and stuff we do. So you want it to be the best for them. There's a small, finite period of time. So just be educational. So I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything on that.
So I'm a big thing of, I like being, and you can call me a helicopter mom, I don't care, but I don't allow my son to watch YouTube by himself because he can watch something very innocent, click on it, and then all of a sudden a person's cussing like crazy, and he changes it. But people slip in things on kids' channels or kids' apps and that kind of stuff. So I'm very involved of what is he doing. There's a video game out there that he plays. He plays it with my sister online, but they do have an open chat system. I have locked it down so he can't chat with anybody that's not a friend. And I'm constantly in there of who's on his friends list. He doesn't know, he doesn't accept anybody. So I'm always denying it, but I'm very involved of what are you doing? Who are you talking to? Oh, I need to protect this on the app or whatever it is. Right. Because anything can slip through if you're not paying attention. Oh, just go do something. Just, go do whatever.
100%.
And that's when you let your guard down and then something can happen. There was a program out there that was telling kids to stab your mom. This kid was literally crying, I don't want to lose you. And he goes, it's telling me I have to kill you. What? And it was this kid's channel on YouTube saying, if you it had a little hand puppet thing saying, well, to be happy in life, you have to take this knife and go do this to your mom. What? And that's a kid's channel. So I'm very in his face about what was that? Let play that. Oh, did I hear that right? So you have to monitor him. You can't just leave it up to him because it can sound, oh, it's a kid's song or this. No, you have to be involved actively to protect him.
Yeah, with Jax, he has so long a day. It's about 45 minutes once he's done his homework online. Because they do it all online now, where he can choose. He can watch. He's got YouTube Kids, but again, he's to run the videos by us. You don't get to, and it has to be on the big TV with the volume up. You're not putting your tablet on with your earphones in.
Nope.
And you do have to monitor it, and then the rest of the time we're but I'm really lucky with Jax because he's got an old school mentality. This would make a few of the guys in the community cringe, but all my old Star Wars beta figures from childhood, he's got them. He plays with them in the proper play. That's the thing. Letting the imagination run wild. It's just scary. I couldn't leave him unattended with it. He said to me not that long ago, Dad, I can't leave a comment on your video because there's certain ones I'll watch with him. If they're not I won't watch live moderately entertaining with him. No way. But these ones, and if I think they're appropriate, and I'm not worried about the odd bit of bad language. He lives with me. Look, he's going to hear it. Georgie's met him. He's got his head screwed on for a little, hasn't he? But
he has.
Yeah.
But he's still a lovely young man. He's a kid, yes, but he's still embracing being a kid as well. And I think they're growing up too quick these days.
Yes.
Well,
I'm not a parent, but
yeah.
Look at the joy on his face when Stu bought him a Hot Wheels car.
Oh,
remember in the pub and Stu surprised him with that Hot Wheels car. It was that's what you want to see. Your kid is excited because he's got Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
He does it. he doesn't care about the big all singing, all dancing thing. But back to the comment about he wanted to leave a comment. Well, he can't. And I said, why can't I leave comments on videos? You can't, because if you can comment, people can comment to you. And that
Yes.
is a form of people being able to
Yes.
speak to you online, which we absolutely can't have.
Mm-mm.
So until you're old enough, mate, I'm sorry, it's just not the way it's going. But anyway, Kat, to move this on a bit, because time is moving on. It really is.
It's moving.
It's moving. It's a moving. It never slows down. Any other things you want to talk about in this section? Any other toys that caught your attention, or any other things?
Those were the two other things. I have other stuff to talk about, but not toys related.
Oh, go for your life then, Kat. Go for your life.
Well, it was just, so it goes on with the toys and with the movies and how far AI has come, and it scares the crap out of me. So like back in, let me move my mouse here. Where is it? Okay, so this lady on the left is like the first AI robot lady that's like, oh, I'm an AI, I have feelings, I'm programmed to learn, to feel. And then, you know, she was interviewed by a bunch of different people, and she's all like, yeah, I'll take mankind out if I have to. What? Huh?
Wow.
Okay,
And the worst part is Rum's out there probably ordering several of them.
He is. Well, not this one, but the one on the right. This one terrifies me even more. This is something that I found recently. That's called from Real Botics or something. I don't know how you say it. But this one, you can actually design it to where it can learn your business. It can learn any product you're trying to sell. It can become your wife, your girlfriend. Like, it's actively learning. And then the even creepier part is they said, you can send us anybody's picture, send it to us, and we'll make it in a face, and you can put that face on the robot. What?
Wow.
Huh? What? And so it goes from a cost between, depending on what you order, you can cost between $10,000 to $150K plus a $399 AI update thing, monthly thing that you have to do. But yeah, this guy was interviewed about the company. He's like, yeah, he goes, this thing will be perfect for you. You can have it as an assistant, you can have it as a business partner, or you can take it on the date. And the guy's like, so what am I going to say? Like, introduces as like, hey, this is my AI girlfriend. He goes, sure, why not? Huh? What?
I knew this was coming. Rum is asking, are there options?
Yes. Rum, I have the link for you. I'll send it to you.
And Jason,
I have it just
what's
for
this
you.
AI called? I need it.
Oh my god.
And Jonathan was commenting on, just to jump back quickly, I remember the drama over those kids' YouTube channels, Kat, made mainstream news as there was crazy stuff going on, and some videos making Mario talking chainsaws. It's just too disturbing. But thank you for the comment anyway, John.
Yes.
So I don't know what this is, just face from Rum. But...
Oh, I think that's about the scanning, maybe, if when you send a scanned photo, just the face.
So basically...
I get what... I've understood what he's saying. Oh, God.
Well,
I think that's where he's going.
Your money will go towards how you want it to look. But
maybe accents and stuff and all that kind of thing.
It feels real and stuff. And so, but you can literally just peel off the face and put a new one on it, and there you go.
Oh, my God. Is it a walking mobile
Yes.
thing?
Yes. But then... And I know, to bring him up is kind of controversial. I recently saw a certain person in the media actually on a date with one. And it wasn't as nicely, like, you could tell the body was robotic. But the face and the hair looked just like a person. And they said that they had the greatest date ever with them, because he was able to have a great conversation with it, was able to tell how beautiful it was. And yeah, super, super creepy. But then you go to this other part that freaks me out. Like, we know our guy over here from iRobot, right? We love him. He's awesome. Then you have to this monstrosity on the left that is real. This is Elon's thing that he, debuted, whatever. And even the trucks that it came into to show them off looked like the vehicles that carried the other robots in iRobot. But it's like, yeah, it can come in your house, it can walk your dog, get your groceries, do this for you. I'm sorry, what? I don't The other thing is, it's not just the technology of I could hold a conversation with this free thinking thing, but it's who's controlling them that is really terrifying me. You know, like person that's power hungry, whatever. Like they could do anything and we'd all be screwed because they're everywhere in our house. Really? I'm good. I'm good. But it's literally, I brought this up because it's iRobot happening. It's the beginning of it. Nobody spend $150,000 for these things. We're good. We don't need it. Yeah,
Zoe had a
it just goes from
interesting
the
comment.
movies to that. Yeah.
Sounds like a
Yes.
Black Mirror episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% Zoe. Bang on the
Yeah.
money with that one. What's Lady Steph's in here? Have you seen the robot that is Spider-Man at the
Yes.
Marvel Land in California? I have not.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I've also seen it fail.
Yeah.
oh dear.
That's quite-
Is it epic failure when it goes as well?
It's just not quite as spectacular as
No.
one would want.
It loses the magic a little
Yeah,
bit.
just a little bit. When I first saw
Yeah.
it, it's like, wow.
Yeah. And then you see it go, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
It's not as special.
I mean, when I went to Universal probably 15 years ago, I was amazed that they had someone in a SpongeBob suit with electronic arms that moved up and down. So that's how easily pleased I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
But
the
just to
Elon
go-
Musk robot.
Well, it's just, it shows you the terror that we felt with how we started the show with Terminator and that scariness. Then you give us cute, warm, and fuzzy Furbies and other stuff that seems like a Barbie doesn't seem so bad, right? Because it's cute, it's playful, but especially with the Barbie, it's very sinister when you look at the deeper side of it. And then you have these AI robots. Like you can literally see it just getting progressively worse, and it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying to me. But you know, we've been warned in movies, so if you buy a robot, it's on you, man.
Lady Steph saying it slams into the buildings. What when it's broken, or
Yeah.
or is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Sounds like an episode of George of the Jungle. Watch out for that tree! Boom.
Yes.
And also
Yes,
a
it
little bit of the
does.
magic that the Spider-Man that then comes down live at the
Mhm.
front is not quite the same build as
Yeah.
the flying guy.
Hey, we
Mhm.
don't body shame on this channel, Georgie.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying,
I'm
just
joking.
make them of similar so it doesn't ruin the magic.
Yeah, because
Whatever.
it's very different. So you're just like, wait, that's
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
It ruins it. It takes you out of the illusion.
Yeah.
So
Great.
Oh,
Yeah. No.
yeah.
Sorry, what's that, Cat?
the walking and robot dog. Have
I've
you
s- I've
seen that
seen-
like out in
I've
the
seen
wilderness
those.
and stuff? Like it freaky. I mean, I've always wanted to have a Jetson, like in the Jetsons with a maid robot. Who doesn't want a maid robot? But like she was sassy and quirky and nice, not creepy
Yeah,
and
but she's a
human-like.
robot.
Exactly.
I can
Exactly.
give
Right.
me a robot. Don't give me a
right.
wannabe human.
I don't need
Mm.
someone that's better looking than me in my own house. Free thinking. I'm good.
Thank
Okay.
you very
But
much.
here's the thing. With them, I feel like, you know how like they may not necessarily think humans are evil or whatever, but I could see them saying, we have no problem getting rid of you to accomplish what we want to.
It's the question of self-awareness, isn't it?
Cool.
It's if they
Yes.
become self-aware, and
Yeah.
if something becomes self-aware, it's effectively, I guess, in simple terms, conscious. None of us want the plug pulled. If
No.
they're self-aware, why would they want the plug pulled? And that leads into the Terminator thing, doesn't it? So
Just like we shouldn't recreate Jurassic Park, we have several movies on it. We should stop with the AI humans. Okay, I'm good.
But then there are examples of, but they're still controlled. I mean, there's machines out there that surgeons use. I know a
Yep.
surgeon. I forget the name of the machine, but he uses it. He's like an expert on it. He trains people in it, and but that still has a human at the control. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's an extension of him.
Right.
But the day will presumably come when a machine can do that entirely. And I just would worry doctors, surgeons, whatnot I don't like the idea of completely removing human conscience and
yeah.
decision making. For me, that's a bit. That's the part that gets very scary for me.
Oh, they
And
flatlined. Oh well, we tried.
Yeah.
Next patient. What? No.
yeah, the fear would be that a human will. Humans have emotion and don't. My fear would be with like a completely AI decided doctor, robot surgeon, one trick does it all. Would be them working too efficiently. Doctors will do things and they go, well, if we try this, we can maybe do this. But would a machine just be like, well, no, I calculate that this is a net loss. So, but do you see what I mean? That's what.
And having to make split decisions really quickly, like if something was
Yes.
nipped or some skin or
Right.
something was thinner than anticipated, and then
Right.
somebody started bleeding out, you'd have a split decision, right? Okay, we're going to do this. Is it going to be that quick to turn that on and then divert its whatever it was doing to something else in order to, counteract what had just gone wrong? But
I like what Des
100%.
has said. You'll never get a robot to skim a ceiling, Nick. I know, but sometimes I want one. My neck's absolutely shot, Des. Oh, it's all gone.
something
now.
else I don't think I would ever trust, just jumping in real quick on the back of what Kat was saying, is self-driving cars either.
No.
They are.
I saw a video of a guy taking an Uber that was a Tesla, a self-driving or whatever, whichever one it was. And it was literally just doing circles in the parking lot. And it wouldn't go. It was just doing circles. So he was on the phone with 911, and he goes, "Yeah, the car is driving itself, but it's just going in circles. I have to get to the airport.
Wow.
What is going? Yeah, it was just driving in circles.
Just wait for
It
the
wouldn't
battery to
stop.
go flat, I guess.
Yeah.
Not learning much there.
Nope. We've learned nothing from our movie history and how it turns out.
What's just
Yeah.
Jonathan Redmond, those Boston Dynamics robot things scare the crap out of me. One of them goes rogue and lots of people are going to have a really bad day. But the question, I guess the question in the podcast being, these toys, I mean, to go back into the toys of the 90s, the so-called AI, into real AI, has this sort of made some people a bit more accepting of having that in that? It's all around us. This was the question I had. Is it making us more accepting of it? Has it made us more accepting? You know, I'm of an age, I've got the equivalents of Alexa's, the Google version and that in here. Am I more accepting because I grow up in an age where it's like, oh, the AI, has it been, do you see what I mean? Has it been almost programmed into me subconsciously to accept it more? And it's only because I'm getting more skeptical as I'm older that I start to question things.
I think it's easier to accept it because it is helpful. I mean, look, like you have AI stuff for like homework programs or like to help solve like a really hard math problem, whatever. You have these AI programs that are really good.
BTR.
Turn overloads. I hear you all. No, Dave, no. Stop it.
Well, Dave will be good for maintenance, though. He'll be good at that.
He will.
So
he will. But no, I think
the maintenance camp.
Because, like I said, Furby, it's cute, it's silly. They do warm you up with. It does have really good and practical uses. So I think with that part of it, it makes us willing to accept it more before it gets to that danger side. And so they integrate it so much, then all of a sudden when it becomes a problem, well, it's surrounded by us. What are you going to do? That's how I feel anyway.
I'm so sorry, Zoe. Apparently I've just set off her device. So yeah, Zoe, apologies that. Hey, Alexa, play Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. There you go, online Rick rolling for you, Zoe. Sorry, mate.
That's funny.
What's Delvian saying? AI also uses a lot more energy as well. A GPT inquiry uses between 50 to 90 times more energy than the standard Google search, for example. So I wasn't aware of that, but that's a very interesting thing. So maybe they will have to turn us into batteries like in the Matrix. Sorry, Zoe. I do apologise. Oh, dear. If Zoe's at... the NEC when we all meet up, I could just imagine being stood there and just getting slapped in the back of the head, like that's for setting off.
Always looking over your shoulder, Nick. Always look over your shoulder.
Gonna have to now, I think. So where else are we at? I think have we covered all your points now, Kat?
Yeah.
that you wanted to talk about. So
Yep.
I guess what I'll do now is I'll sort of go to George. Is there any observations or anything, and in this discussion, anything for you which you want to comment on, or you don't have to? It's just I'm putting you on the spot. It's terrible of me, I know, but does any of this? Do you find any of this stuff scary, or I mean, I sort of guess you do, but is there anything that's really jumped out at you in this discussion we've had?
Only Mrs. Freaky Lady.
Right.
That Kat showed. I don't think I'm particularly frightened of stuff. I mean, again, I've got the Google Home bits and bobs in here, but even down to like the smart TVs and stuff. When you're talking into the controller, I don't know if you guys have that, where you say, Amazon Prime, this, that, and the other.
I refuse.
Oh, we do use it. I think it took Stu about 10 minutes to try and get a channel up the other day until he gave it to me, because it was.
And you did it in 2 seconds, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I think we were trying to get Netflix up, and let's just say things that rhyme with flicks came up a lot, and we didn't get any channel. Yeah,
I do hear there are a few websites on the internet which have flicks on the end of them.
Yeah. So things that rhyme with flicks kept coming up at the top of the screen, going, no, we don't recognise that. So luckily, because it's on the TV, but no, as I said, I don't think anything really. It's worrying where it's going. I don't feel I'm overly frightened of it, but then I think I just stay in my little bubble away from a lot of it, to be fair. If we could have robots like Johnny 5, I'd be very happy.
Right? There you go. Yeah, exactly.
But,
I feel there's been a bit of a ruse in this episode, though. Something I just want to say. Now, I just want to put forward here. So this conversation, I wanted to cover Tamagotchi. I wanted to cover Furby. The show outline is my own. This is what I wanted to cover. But so as an experiment this time, now I'm a complete control freak, right? I will research like crazy. And Kat knows the calls that come with it. And Georgie, you've had a couple, to be fair. But for this episode, just to lean into...
I'm sorry, just what Keith said.
We'll get to that. We will get to that. But for this episode, I did something that I would never normally do. Now, don't get me wrong. I will use ChatGPT to correct my spelling and stuff because I'm quite dyslexic and quite bad with it. But I actually let ChatGPT do all my notes, all my prep, and all my research. I handed everything over to the machines. I've actually, other than knowing the layout of the show, I have come in completely blind. I purposely used an AI-generated thumbnail. I purposely used a completely AI-generated video description. As I say, all I had was the basic idea for the show. I even used ChatGPT to bullet point what I'm saying to you now because I wanted to make sure I covered points. Now, I've come in blind. The conversation is complete. Kat's research was all done by her. The conversation is all real. This is a real conversation. There's nothing scripted here. So all the interactions with me, Kat, and Georgie are real. But I didn't do it to be lazy. You know, this deception isn't, it's not to get away with doing the minimal work, but it's to prove a point that we can quite easily let machines and AI take away the creative function of our brain or the curiosity that we have as humans. So long and short of it, AI is absolutely everywhere. It's in our phones, it's in our cars, it's bloody in our toys now. And to be honest with you, in researching this, if I could have been bothered to pay the £15 a month, I could have actually programmed my voice to read this as a recorded statement, but I'm too tight. So how long is it before AI can completely mimic us on camera and speak? It's not that far off because there's basic versions of it now. And I don't know if it scares you guys, but it scares the shit out of me. So apologies for the deception, but all my notes and everything done by AI. And it was just to prove that that's how easy it is.
I mean, do you ever think it's going to be like 100% though? I mean, I have fun on, oh my goodness, an AI photo app. And I think Tez actually started at the NEC, so I downloaded it. I'm again very tight, so I'm not paying for it. But you get so many free
I knew that
goes
was
on it.
coming. Sorry, Des. I thought it was very professional, Nick. Look, I'm still the human delivering it. But no, good on you, Des.
Oh my
But
goodness.
no,
Let me see
right,
what I can't remember what it was called, but it was, do a photo and say that I want a ginger-haired female on a beach or this, that, and the other. I think we were looking at like trying to Barbie yourself and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And some of them were great and wonderful until I ended up with like 3 arms.
Yeah.
And
And
4 or 5 extra feet or something.
You've always got to look on AI generated images. You've got to look at the fingers. They often put an extra finger. But so Jonathan says,
in not a good
sorry,
place.
Kat, carry on.
I was just going to say, next time, Georgie, try adding a lightsaber to it. You get lightsabers in really weird places. Just saying. Like, I'll have a lightsaber here, and then all of a sudden one's popping out of my boob. What is going on? Like, try a lightsaber next time.
I definitely
love
have
those.
some interesting ones. We'll have to.
Yeah, we'll compare. I'll send you some.
Just going to address a couple of comments here. Jonathan saying, it's already here, Nick. Some voice actors were kicking up a right stink as some AI company was using their voices. Yeah, absolutely. It is here. Yep. And if you've got the money, but the point I'm getting at it more so is that you once needed a lot of money and computers to do is becoming ever more accessible to the everyday person. We can already get AI voices. Me and Monkey Boy use an AI voice for the intro speak on Live and Moderately Entertaining. But I literally found an app where I could sign up to it and give it a half an hour recording of my voice, easy to get. I've done enough of these shows, I waffle enough, and it would mimic my voice. And then it could record me if I wanted and take me on camera, and it could basically make it look like it was me speaking. And there's also AI controls, and one of them, when you're reading from a script, where it will AI adjust your eyes so it makes like you're looking at the screen, not at the prompter. Yeah. So that's quite scary. And to address Des' point, but surely you need to input the initial ideas in the first place. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I had to go into ChatGPT. I told it what I wanted the show to be about. I told it I wanted to cover Tamagotchi, Furby, and whatnot. I fed a framework to it, Des, but I basically told ChatGPT to fill it in. So what I will normally do for these shows, Kat's done a few of these with me on the Real Impact series, is we'll go away and we'll do our own research. We'll Google, we'll Wikipedia, we'll watch things, we'll make our own notes. But that's the element I gave to ChatGPT for this. I just let it do it for me. And that was a really scary experience for me because I am a little bit of a control freak when it comes to my research. I don't like... Kat will tell you, how many drafts do we get for a show when we do a show together? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drafts of the notes?
I look at the first one. I don't look at any of them until he tells me it's the final draft. It'll change. By the time I go through it, if I start making notes, then all of a sudden, I revised it. Okay. So yeah. I just go off of the first one, do what I need to do, and then I look at what his final copy is.
So yeah, no, you are right. You are right, Des. The idea is mine, that sort of the show structure's mine and everything, and Kat's, but it's just the fact that I let a machine do all the research for me, as in dates, times, stories, everything, and it added things to it that maybe I wouldn't have covered. That's the scary thing. But what's scary, Des, is you can go on to ChatGPT now and you can say to it, write me a YouTube script for a 10-minute video about a Star Wars Black Series figure, whatever figure, and within seconds, mate, you have got an immaculate script. I would recommend fact-checking. It does make mistakes, but it will give you everything from the introduction of how you speak to the audience, and it's so professional. And that's there at your fingertips for free. And this is the free stuff is generally the stuff that they're throwing out that, and this stuff's being developed ever more. That's the part that sort of scares me. And what's it Dave saying here? Face Off was on last night. I'm now expecting Nick to be Georgie and vice versa.
Oh, great film, though.
Yeah.
See, like Jason saying, so Nick, you give your homework to AI, you lazy. Yeah, no, for this episode, yeah. But never normally. Never normally. It's believe me, Jason, it's a lot. I will sit up often. If it's a show week, I will be sat up till go on 1 a.m. most nights, Kat will tell you, because I can phone her late because of the time difference. We'll often have a chat if we're researching.
I mean,
But yeah, no, it's
talking about
scary.
how you set all that up. I mean, how do they what's the word I'm looking for? Police that in schools and stuff. If they're going to be doing reports and essays and things, I mean, typing in a few words and then going, oh, let's do that and give you 500 words.
I've heard from a teacher that there are programs they can put these essays and documents into to detect if it has been generated by AI. But then I guess there has to be a failure rate as well. There's videos on YouTube. There was this guy, and he's getting his diploma in law and whatever, and he literally turns to the camera and says, "Thank you, ChatGPT."
Oh wow.
There was
how many people out there done dissertations and God knows what using AI?
There was a professor that has a program that would run it over papers. Like, he'd put them in there, and it would come back with saying either, I believe this was generated with AI and stuff, and then he would confront the students. And one kid's like, I spent weeks on this. Like, so they literally the student had to prove that it wasn't through AI. Like, there's like painstaking. And then there's another video of this guy said, you got 2 videos to watch. They're both 10 minutes. He goes, I need you to write a little, like, just small paragraph on each video. And the girl's like, I'm done. He goes, what do you mean? It's 10 minutes. I gave it to you 2 minutes ago. She goes, oh, but AI listened to it. It's a 10-minute video. Why can't you do that? She's like, yeah, but if it does it for me, I'm not, so there's a lot of things in it. I know with my son's schooling, it's frowned upon. The only thing that they have said that, like, if you like, there's a certain school program that is really awesome with math. And so, like, this really hard math problems that he's trying to get through, if he doesn't understand it, you can scan it and it'll break it down. And then if you need more, it breaks it down even simpler. So I found they're like, you're allowed to use that not for tests, but for any of the schoolwork. If you can't get a hold of us, you're allowed to use this just to help you any way that you can. If your parents don't know, if with this, you're allowed to use that. So there's certain instances where it's okay, and then other stuff for tests and stuff, obviously it's very frowned upon.
Yeah,
I think it just depends. Yeah,
the only shortcut we ever had was watch the film, and because I couldn't be bothered to read the book, and that was my only cheating.
Right? That, or you're asking a buddy to get you a Cliff Notes book, right? Like, you got the Cliff Notes, right? Like, you either had you have to. I mean, we used to have encyclopedias at our house. Like, you had to look up a subject. We had those like little kid ones, the adult ones. That's how you had to do it. We didn't have Google. My gosh, I would have loved Google at school, right?
So I'm going to address a comment from Jason. He says, but Nick, now you've done that, will you do it forever? I will use AI to help me do video descriptions. Again, yes, because I have done it a couple of times for video descriptions, because my English and grammar is terrible. It's terrible. It's on the level of, like, I'm not very good. And normally I used to ask Carla to help me write stuff. But I'm going to let Kat answer this for you. Kat, will I ever hand over control to AI again to do my notes for me and my research?
No, you're too anal retentive.
Exactly.
Listen, like, he gets, and I love you, man. But it's so, you're so picky about things. Like, you were stressing, like, the conversations we're having about this loan. Do you think I should address? I said I think it's a great tie-in about how far AI has come. It's not just in toys. It's not, it's here. We have to deal with it. I think it would be great to say, no, I use AI for that, because you, like you said, you're a control freak. And you need you like putting your hands on everything. And for you to let go of that control, like, you're like over here sweating bullets over here. So no, you're not going to do that again.
I will absolutely use AI, and I've started to use AI to help me get backgrounds and stuff for thumbnails, because that's great, because I don't have to worry about getting copy claims.
I'll
but that's use it for video descriptions. I'll use it for hashtags for the algorithm and stuff. But I will never let AI. I will never let it do my research for me, because I tell you things I've done before. I will type up my sheet. Kat's seen how in depth, Georgie's seen it. How in depth is the run sheet for a show? There's so much in it typically because Georgie.
And I got rid of things, but I have like 6 sheets, and I got rid of stuff that I didn't want to print out because I didn't need it. It's a lot of paper.
I'd be tempted. I could be tempted to let ChatGPT clean up my notes, but my fear would be it would delete stuff, and that's what concerns me because ChatGPT will think it's helping you.
Yeah.
And it's not. And when I do my notes, I mean, yeah, Kat said it, I'm anal retentive, but I think that's just because I always worry about delivering a good show for people. I don't want people to come here and not be entertained. I think if I'm asking people to spend time with me, the least I can do for them is give them a good show. You know, I get paid with your time. So if you guys show up, that's everything to me. So that's what I want, and that's why I like. That's why I'm picky about sound. That's why I'm picky about notes and stuff, because I genuinely, it all comes down to I want you, the person watching it, to have the best possible experience.
Yep.
And as much as machines move on, it will help me with certain things. Like I say, video descriptions, thumbnails, absolutely, because they're the ball ache of YouTube. They really are. But nah, it's never going to take over you're not having control, computer. Go away. It's mine.
No. Like I said, it's certain aspects. Like anybody that knows me, I love doing my AI thumbnails. Everybody asks me about how did you do that? How did you make that? I get a joy out of it. I love it. It's something different. You know, not everybody's going to have that same picture. And also, like, I absolutely love it. But again, you don't let it run everything.
I'll tell you what I would let ChatGPT do, because, I mean, Delvian here saying I get AI-generated grant applications on a very regular basis now. I would absolutely let AI, if I would write an email, for example, and I would happily give it to ChatGPT and say, can you make this sound professional, for example?
Oh, yeah.
And stuff like that, great. But I would still want, I wouldn't just blindly say, can you just write to my bank and tell it that I'm not paying this month? Do you know what I mean?
That'll go
I'd
over
have
well.
to read the content. But Dave was saying, I think AI is fantastic for education.
Yeah.
Wish I had it back in the day. But how we test needs to change. It shouldn't be focused on memory recollection. Completely agree with that, Dave. Yep. I completely agree. And Zoe saying, totally agree, VTR. I could rant about that for hours. Us three, if we were in we'd have a good conversation about that. Believe me. I agree, guys. Let me see. What's Lando saying? I remember a friend using his calculator watch to do math in class. We could all hear the beeping as he pressed the buttons. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, some people say, well, they say about using AI now, but people have always used calculators. It's a point. Look, I think before we close this down, the thing I want to say, I think AI for things does have its place. I do think writing emails, things that, look, if there's something that can help me put words down on a screen and make it easier, if I've got to send that to someone when it's something I really struggle with, and I do struggle with, look, you would probably watch me read the comments sometimes. Kat will tell you, I don't like reading comments out because I jumble myself up. I've sort of learned to do it on the fly, but if someone can help me with it,
that's easy done. It's not an easy thing to do.
No.
And if I actually wore my glasses as well, that would probably help. But I'm too vain.
Talk to me about glasses.
But I think it has its uses, but I would never want it to stifle my creativity or my curiosity, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because that's the beautiful thing of being human, curiosity. That's why I like these shows. I enjoy research. I enjoy finding stuff out. Yeah. So that's sort of all I've got to say on it, really. Girls, have you got anything you want to say before we close the show down this evening? Because we're there. I think we're there. I think we've hit it all.
AI's here. We've embraced it. We all use it in some form. I'm good with that, just not when it takes human form. That freaks me out. But yeah, it's super helpful with certain things. It's just we need that balanced view. And like what Georgie said before is it shouldn't take our creativity out of us. Like we should keep that. I mean, we're
That's
human
ours.
with that.
That's
We come up with stuff, not you replace it. Like you can get thoughts from it and stuff like, oh well, that would be a cool storyline, or that would be, getting some ideas from it, but it shouldn't just solely take your creativity away and let that only be it. So, but yeah, it's here. I just don't want it in human form.
Yeah. No, too creepy.
Yeah.
Any parting words from you, Georgie? You don't have to give any. You could just tell
Just,
me to go away if you want.
Go away, Nick.
Fair
No, not at all. Just reiterating what Kat said, though, and the creativity, but that's all through life, from childhood all the way through, completely. So,
Okay.
Now,
yeah.
I need to yell
Now-
at Jonathan. Jonathan, go away. Get in the doghouse. We're no longer friends. Get out. Get out. Get out. Get
Oh
out.
God.
He's banished.
I've also seen what Rum's posted, just a little bit higher than that. That's very
Saw that
interesting.
too.
and on that note, I think it's time to probably wrap this up. What I'm going to say is, guys, if you don't already follow Kat OnlyVadersGirl, her channel is linked in the video description. Give her a sub, give her a follow, watch her puzzle streams, watch everything she does. She's awesome. Georgie, I've linked the Universal Toy Collector channel, which is Stu's, but if you add your own channel.
Well, I kind of do, but I just, it's
does.
very, the thing is, when I come on as that channel,
Send me
nobody
the
knows
link
who
and
I
I'll link
am.
it.
So I've done little on that. I've done very little.
But-
I'm mainly on Instagram on that one.
But you do have something. You have
I
a little
do have
something. Because
something.
I was like, wait, she has her own. It's there. It is there.
Little
Georgie,
spark
please
Yeah.
do
of
send me.
inspiration.
Please
Yeah,
do send
okay,
me
Dave.
the information, and I will get that linked up properly if you want it. Because all go and follow
Thank you, thank
Georgie.
Oh, bless. Thank you. I will be doing Star Wars quiz tomorrow evening for the scores.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely promote that. Stu's Star Wars
Thank
quiz
you.
tomorrow night. What is it? 8 p.m.
8 p.m. UK time. Indeed.
Yeah, on the Universal Toy Collector channel. Please do go and watch it. Guys, I always love having you in the chat. You've shown up in force this evening.
Yes.
Means the world to me.
Thank you.
I'm glad that the show went smooth, because I was really nervous about this one. First one back in a long time, and trusting a bloody robot to do my research for me. So, but no, thank you guys. You've all been amazing. I don't know when the next APC episode will be, but there is very shortly another episode of Real Impact coming up, and I believe it's going to be with G-Force.
Ooh.
And I think we're doing. I don't think, if it is the one with G-Force, we're doing True Romance. But I will get the dates out there for that. So, guys, I always say the same at the end of a stream. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. You've been great. And ladies, let's do the awkward wave while I end the stream. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.